Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're embarking on what I can literally only describe as an epic time-traveling expedition. We're looking at the foundational roadmap for a 7th grade ancient history curriculum. And instead of just seeing it as a boring list of classes, I want you to view it as a massive, sweeping journey across centuries. We're going to uncover exactly how ancient people lived, the crazy things they invented, and how they built the very foundations of the modern world we're sitting in today. But we aren't just going to read about them. Nope. We're going to act as historical detectives. We're learning how to synthesize clues from the past to really understand the full picture. It's going to be absolutely fascinating. So, here is our roadmap for the journey. We'll navigate through 4 chronological units, starting out with the historian's toolkit, moving into early civilizations, then exploring the classical ancient world, and finally, new empires and faiths. And we'll wrap the whole thing up with one big historical question. All right, first stop, Unit 1, the Historian's Toolkit. Because honestly, before we do any actual time traveling, we need to spend a few weeks packing our bags with some absolutely essential skills. You see, in middle school social studies, you aren't just memorizing a bunch of names and dates anymore. You're becoming an investigator. And the single most crucial skill you're going to develop here is the ability to evaluate credibility. When we uncover an ancient diary, or a royal decree carved into a giant stone, or even just a secondhand account of some epic battle, we have to stop and ask ourselves, wait, can I actually trust this? We have to figure out exactly who is telling the story, what their hidden biases might be, and why they want us to believe their specific version of events. Because history isn't just what happened, right? It's what was recorded. And being able to dig through those sources and determine what's actually reliable evidence, well, that's how you uncover the truth. And to be a truly great detective, you have to know how to synthesize or combine different types of clues. We use geography tools, things like maps and graphs, to see the physical layout of the world. That helps us understand how a mountain range or a massive river directly impacted human behavior. Then we have time tools, like timelines, which help us organize and measure these massive historical eras. But the real magic? That happens when you synthesize these things together. By combining where something happened on a map with when it happened on a timeline, you can finally uncover why it happened. You take these scattered written sources, maps, and timelines, and you synthesize them into one perfectly supported historical conclusion. And that brings us right into Unit 2, Early Civilizations and Inventions. This is where we finally get to meet the very first civilizations to leave a permanent mark on human history. Just think about how these ancient innovations in science and technology shaped early economies, and honestly, how they continue to impact us right now. Over in Mesopotamia, they didn't just invent writing so they could, write beautiful poetry. They desperately needed it to track trade, count their grain, and manage this rapidly growing economy. Then you've got Egypt giving us papyrus, which is basically the ancient ancestor of paper. That was a massive technological leap. It allowed for super complex administration and communication across huge distances. And the Israelites provided scripture, forming foundational belief systems that would literally shape entire societies for millennia. These weren't just neat little inventions. They were the operating systems of the ancient world. They completely changed how human beings interacted with their environment and with each other. Next up, we step into Unit 3, the classical ancient world. We're now exploring these massive societal shifts that stretched all the way across Greece, India, and China. The legacy of the classical world is it's absolutely staggering. The Greeks developed highly complex new writing systems that allowed philosophy and democracy to truly flourish. The ancient Chinese completely revolutionized human knowledge by creating actual physical paper, which made recording history vastly more efficient. But perhaps the most mind-bending of all, the people of India literally invented the concept of zero. I mean, just think about that for a second. The concept of zero completely revolutionized mathematics, architecture, and science forever. We literally could not have modern computers or smartphones or space travel without an ancient civilization realizing the mathematical necessity of nothingness. It's wild. But here's the thing. Brilliant inventions don't really mean much without a society to actually use them. So in this unit, we look at how massive social systems and complex classical governments dictated daily life. We're going to explore exactly how much power a regular, everyday citizen actually had in these different empires, and how your personal identity determined your ultimate fate in the community. What did it actually mean to be a citizen voting in Athens versus being a subject in a massive empire? These are fundamental debates about human rights, power, and organization that we have been having for thousands of years. And the classical world, that is where those debates really caught fire. From there, we transition into the final leg of our historical journey in Unit 4, New Empires and Faiths. Okay, I absolutely love this fact. The Romans invented concrete, and they mastered the architectural arch. This was a massive, game-changing engineering leap forward. It wasn't just about making their cities look grand. It meant they could build the colossal Colosseum or construct these massive aqueducts that carried fresh, running water across miles of rugged terrain right into bustling cities. The concrete and arches they developed back then are the direct ancestors of the highway bridges we drive over and the sports stadiums we sit in today. Their physical achievements prove that with enough engineering ingenuity, humans could permanently conquer their geography. Now, alongside these rapidly expanding empires came some truly profound cultural shifts. We see the rise of Christianity, which fundamentally shaped Western institutions and religious beliefs. And alongside it, we see the rapid spread of Islam, which brought with it massive advancements in science and mathematics, including the invention of algebra. This entire era is basically an absolute masterclass in conflict and connection. As these societies collided through trade, war, and diplomacy, they didn't just exchange spices and silk, they exchanged ideas. In those cultural and intellectual interactions, they forever altered the trajectory of the entire globe. Which finally brings us to Section 5, the big historical question. This is where we bring everything we've talked about today together to reveal the core focus of your ancient history curriculum. By the end of this journey, you are going to possess some serious analytical firepower. You're going to be able to seamlessly synthesize information from maps, timelines, and ancient documents to compare political systems side by side. You'll trace how a single invention or a revolutionary idea diffused across entire continents, and ultimately, you'll be able to evaluate the true historical legacy of these fallen empires. You won't just know what happened, you'll know how to prove why it matters, using solid evidence to back up your conclusions. All of this leaves us with the ultimate question that's going to guide your entire year. How did ancient societies solve problems of power, belief, and community? Because honestly, every single law passed, every war fought, and every god worshipped was really just human beings trying to figure out how to live together, what to believe in, and who gets to be in charge. So as you dive into history, I want you to ask yourself, how are their ancient solutions still governing your life today? Keep your eyes open and enjoy the expedition.